The Bo Sorceress is an extremely challenging boss who mixes lethal long-range magic with aggressive melee combos. And I won't lie, this boss was not as easy for me as most of the other bosses I've made guides for so far. But I did find a setup that worked pretty well. It still took me a couple tries to bring her down, but once I got to the point where I was getting her to low health, I was able to do it consistently. So first up, I'm going to go over some quick build elements. Then I'm going to talk about the boss moves that tripped me up the most and wrap everything up with my kill. First and most importantly, the build I am using is a magic variant of the caster setup that I used against Honglan and Huang Yan. If you've been playing the feathering version, it is very easy to swap over. Just respec all of your feathering nodes and take magic nodes instead. And unlike before, the spell you're going to be using is Burning Flames. That said, if you have not played a caster build before, or you have not seen my previous videos, check out my full spellcaster guide linked up in the card and down below to learn how the build works, then come back. Just remember, take the magic nodes, not the feathering nodes. Alright, so what's the strategy and what moves gave me the most trouble? Well, like with most of the other builds where I've played ranged, the playstyle is stand back and bait her moves, because from a distance, she is more likely to use her leap and charge type attacks, which are pretty easy to avoid using ethereal form. They're actually not that bad to just dodge manually, but ethereal form adds way more safety, and this is not the sort of boss you want to take chances on. Your goal is to play defensively and focus on dodging or casting ethereal form until you generate enough Skyborn Might that your feathers turn red or gold. This way, you can nuke her with Burning Flames and still have enough to refresh ethereal form. Actually, best case scenario is you get to gold, you cast Burning Flames, which costs 3, so now you go from 5 down to 2, but you triggered Alacrity during the cast, so you actually go up to 3, you cast it again, and you either passively regenerate or trigger Alacrity again, so the end result is 1 Skyborn Might, which you can use on ethereal form, but you cast twice back to back, which is basically guaranteed to set the boss on fire, and the burn does a tremendous amount of damage. Also, I found that the backstep from Burning Flames was super helpful, as the Sorceress has annoyingly long attack combo. Now her most dangerous leap attack is the one that she likes to use right at the start of a fight. She goes into the air and fires 3 waves of golden energy, then there's a delay, which is just long enough that if you were planning to dodge at the same timing, you would dodge too early and get hit by the 4th wave. And then she leaps down on your head, which hits very hard. And if you got hit by the 4th wave, you're likely to be knocked down, and you'll be standing up right in time to have the boss crash on your head and kill you. Luckily, you can just spam ethereal form and negate the entire combo. Alternatively, if you're pretty comfortable in your ability to dodge, manually dodge the first 3 waves to generate Skyborn Might, then cast ethereal form for the delayed wave, and recast it for the leap. Now, I found that her melee combos used a lot of whirling attacks, and as she executes these, she covers quite a bit of distance. So if I dodged backwards, I would get hit by the very end of a combo. Instead, focus on dodging forwards or to the side, depending on where the boss is going, and try to cast ethereal form, as that's going to have a long enough, but it should be up for most of the combo, and you can always quickly recast it while still in the dodging animation from ethereal form to finish out the rest of the combo with full iframes. On the other hand, when she uses her feather spin, this is the time to actually dodge backwards, or if you have it, cast Burning Flames. Because I noticed the spin lasts quite a while, 1 cast of ethereal form is not enough, and then the feathers explode after a short delay, which again, if you just cast 1 ethereal form, or if you just dodged left or right, you're probably staying in some feathers that are going to explode and do some damage. So those are the tips that got me through phase 1. But then, at 50% health, she does a transition, and she shoots a bunch of tornadoes at you. It's annoying. What I found, though, is there's a tree, which, keep in mind, for things like her golden waves, it does not count as line of sight. Those can just go right through, but for whatever reason, the tornadoes can't. So when she starts to transition around 50% health, just hide behind the tree. If you want to summon the White-Robed Elder, this is the perfect time to do it. She is very distracted just spamming tornadoes into the tree. Personally, I found this fight was actually a little bit easier if I didn't summon the White-Robed Elder, because she spent more time attacking me directly, so I got more Skyborn Might. That said, I know a lot of people are probably going to want to summon him, so this is when you do it, and for the kill example, I did actually summon the White-Robed Elder, so you can see how that plays out. Now, one move that did hit me a lot was the Ice Storm. This is actually the same as the Echo of a Bo Sorceress you will get for beating this boss. You can spam dodge, that kind of works. You can cast and animation cancel ethereal form, that also kind of works, but I found it really hard to totally avoid the damage. Luckily, the individual ice crystals from this move don't hit particularly hard, so as long as you're not tanking the entire thing, you should be fine. Just try to top your health off before the casting animation's long enough that you should be able to without an issue. And last up, the grab attack. This one was not an issue for me personally, but I figured I'd mention it because some people are going to want to see it. As for how to dodge it, ethereal form. And so those were the moves that stood out to me and the strategies that I used to deal with them. Now let's jump right into the full video of the kill. And remember, this is the one where I'm summoning.
At last! You've come before me. Arc and shadow. Start ball! Be gone! A winged mortal. Let us test thy worth. I shall cleanse all. Start ball. Be gone. Tempest's rage and drown the heavens. Arc and shadow.
Mortals guide my spirit! Witness the might of the dragon! Mortals guide my spear!
Wave forward blade. Ren, die! Only to fall by a mortal wing! Start ball! Be gone! Mortal scum!
Personally, I found this to be one of the hardest encounters in the game, second only to Hung Lan. Many of the other bosses in Chapter 2 and 3, I killed them in under 5 tries, with a lot of them dying in a single try thanks to the dual blades or the feathering caster. But Bo Sorceress took longer, and resulted in me feeling like I needed to change my build-up, going for a magic/burn-based version, because she was kind of annoying as dual blades. I actually did do that on my first kill, but it was super sketchy, and then when I tried feathering, she's pretty resistant to that. I felt like I did no damage, so I swapped it up and killed her with fire. Also, speaking of things that you can kill with fire, this strategy, highly effective against the Fierce Tiger, and honestly, you play it the exact same way, building up Skyborn Might, baiting out some of his long-range attacks, and then when your Skyborn Might gets to 4 or 5, unleashing Destruction and setting him on fire. This also worked surprisingly well on the Bow Magus in Chapter 4. On the other hand, the Dual Blades build is quite good against Zhao Yun and the final boss of the game. The final boss doesn't have that many things you can clash with, But I found I was able to use Ethereal Form to negate his moves and then just keep spamming attacks on him, and the dual blades are very high damage, so he kinda melted. I've had a lot of fun making these boss guides, but I think I'm done playing Wuchang Fallen Feathers for now. I've put around 100 hours into the game in total, and that has been across roughly 3 playthroughs. It's kind of hard to keep track exactly how much I've done, because I started copying my save files to try different things on different bosses. No way to respawn from in-game otherwise. TLDR, I've played the game a lot. I'm planning to move on to something else. That said, I really do hope you found all of these boss guides and build guides helpful. And if you want to see more stuff in the future, whether it's for this game or something else that I'm playing, please do get subscribed. And hey, maybe let me know down in the comments below how many times it took you to defeat the Bo Sorceress. That said, I'm going to get going for now. Thank you for watching to the end. If you enjoyed, leave a like. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.